Hello, Muslim friends of the world. The blinding flash of camera lights, guests in luxurious attire passing by, and laughter filling the ballroom of a five-star hotel in New York. Sophia Albright, a billionaire also known as the Queen of Technology, stood in the middle of the room. Her gown, designed by a famous designer, sparkled with priceless diamonds. All eyes were on her, the woman who had conquered the tech world with her innovations. However, amidst the loud applause for Sophia's victory speech as the Entrepreneur of the Year, there was something stirring in her heart, a feeling that no one knew about. To the outside world, Sophia was a symbol of success, but to herself, she was just a woman lost in the maze of her life. After the event, Sophia returned to her penthouse apartment in Manhattan overlooking Central Park. The large windows presented a breathtaking night view, but Sophia felt empty. She sat on the couch, a glass of wine in her hand, but not a trace of contentment touched her heart. "All this, for what?" she murmured softly, staring at the starry night sky. Sophia was a woman who had overcome every form of struggle. From an ordinary girl on the outskirts of town, she built her business empire with sweat and tears. But now, when all the dreams she once chased had become a reality, she felt that something was missing. She tried to fill the emptiness in various ways: lavish parties, exotic vacations, and even a collection of multi-million-dollar art. But every time she acquired something new, that happiness was only temporary. The emptiness always returned, deeper than before. That night, Sophia opened her journal, a place where she often wrote down thoughts she dared not share with anyone. With pen in hand, she wrote the question that haunted her: why am I not happy even though I have everything? What is truly missing from my life? Yet, as with previous nights, that question remained unanswered. The next morning, Sophia received an invitation to attend a technology conference in Dubai, an event attended by business leaders from around the world. She decided to go, hoping a change of scenery would offer some peace for her mind. Little did she know, this journey would mark the beginning of something extraordinary, a meeting that would shake her world and lead Sophia on a journey toward the true meaning of life. The bright blue sky of Dubai sheltered the skyscrapers, reflecting the grandeur of the city that never sleeps. Sophia arrived at the Burj Al Arab, the world's most luxurious hotel, where the technology conference was being held. Dressed in an elegant silk coat and Italian designer high heels, Sophia entered with grace. She was used to being among influential people, but this time there was something slightly different. Perhaps the atmosphere of the Middle East, or the restless feeling that had followed her since her arrival. The conference was filled with discussions about innovation, artificial intelligence, and the future of technology. Sophia was the main star, but her attention seemed divided. In the middle of a Q&A session, a man raised his hand. "Khalid Al-Mansour," said the moderator, introducing the man. Sophia turned, noticing Khalid standing among the audience. He was a successful businessman from the Middle East, but his demeanor was humble. With a friendly smile and a calm voice, Khalid asked a question about how technology could be used for the greater good of humanity. The question was simple, yet profound. Sophia paused for a moment before answering. Normally, she always had a ready answer for any question, but this time she felt as if she were being tested, not just as a businesswoman, but as a human being. After the session, Khalid approached Sophia outside the hall. "Great speech," he said, extending his hand. "Thank you," Sophia replied with a smile. Their conversation began with a discussion about technology, but it quickly shifted to deeper matters. Khalid, with his relaxed yet meaningful way of speaking, began to talk about how true success is not measured only by worldly achievements, but also by inner happiness and a sense of purpose in life. "I believe," said Khalid, looking at Sophia with sincere eyes, "that life is not just about what we have, but about what we give and how we connect with the Creator." Sophia fell silent. Khalid's words pierced something she had been trying to ignore. That night, she couldn't stop thinking about their conversation. The next day, Khalid invited Sophia to dinner with his family. Sophia hesitated, but she accepted the invitation. At Khalid's home, she met his wife and children. They welcomed her with warmth that made her feel at ease. This is different, Sophia thought as she watched Khalid and his family interact simply, yet with such joy. There was something Sophia felt there, a peace she had been searching for. Before she left, Khalid gave her a small book. "This is about Islam," he said. "Not to influence you, just for reading. Maybe you'll find something interesting." Sophia politely accepted the book, though she wasn't sure she would read it. However, when she returned to her hotel room that night, curiosity led her to open the first page. The book not only spoke about religion, but also about the meaning of life, the purpose of human existence, and the relationship with God. Each word in the book seemed to answer the questions that had been troubling her. Sophia felt something stir within her, a desire to understand more deeply. That night marked the beginning of the seed of guidance growing in Sophia's heart. Her journey had just begun, and she had no idea that her life would change forever. In the days following her meeting with Khalid and reading the book about Islam, Sophia felt her heart torn. The desire to delve deeper into the meaning of life she had been searching for grew stronger. Amidst her busy life as an entrepreneur, she began to set aside time to reflect, think, and learn more. One morning, Sophia decided to visit a mosque not far from her home. She knew that to truly understand what she had been learning, she needed to experience for herself how Muslims practice their worship. The mosque was simple, yet incredibly calming. As she stepped inside, Sophia felt as though she had entered a different space, one filled with peace she couldn't find elsewhere. Suddenly, she felt awake. There was something soothing in the air of the mosque. Though surrounded by the hustle and bustle of the city, inside the mosque, there was only tranquility. Sophia sat in a corner, observing people performing their prayers, the physical movements full of reverence, the faces calm and serene. There was something very different about this spiritual experience compared to what she had known before. After a few moments, a young woman approached her. Her name was Amina, a young mother who had just introduced her children to Islam. Amina greeted Sophia with a warm smile. "Welcome to the mosque," Amina said softly. "If there's anything you'd like to know, I'd be happy to help." Sophia felt awkward, but her heart was filled with a deep curiosity. They sat together and talked about life. Amina shared how she found peace in Islam, how the acts of worship taught her to be grateful and maintain a connection with Allah, even in times of difficulty. "I used to feel like something was missing, just like you," Amina said. "But after embracing Islam, I feel that my life has become more meaningful. It's not just about prayers or rituals, but about the way we view life, the way we treat others, and the way we direct our hearts to God." Sophia listened intently, and for the first time in a long while, her heart felt like it had found the answer she had been searching for. After their conversation, Amina invited Sophia to join the congregational prayer. Sophia hesitated, unsure if she was ready, but Amina reassured her. "Don't worry, just do what you can. No one is forcing you, just follow your heart." Sophia sat in the back row and observed the people praying. As the call to prayer, Adhan, echoed through the mosque, there was a feeling she couldn't quite express. It was as though it was a call from deep within her. She felt a peace so profound. As the congregation began to bow and prostrate, Sophia felt as though some great force was moving her. That night in her hotel room, Sophia began her first prayer in her life. She didn't know how to do it perfectly, but with a heart full of humility, she raised her hands and prayed to Allah. "Ya Allah, I don't know if I am worthy, but I come to you with an open heart. Show me the right path." She cried, not from sadness, but from a deep sense of awe. For the first time, Sophia felt as if she were speaking directly to God, without intermediaries, without doubt. A peaceful feeling enveloped her, as if lifting the burdens she had carried for so long. In the days that followed, Sophia visited the mosque more frequently, read more books about Islam, and delved into every lesson it offered. The more she learned, the more deeply her heart felt connected to the religion. One afternoon, while sitting in a cafe reading the Quran, she once again recalled her conversation with Khalid. His simple yet meaningful words echoed in her mind. Life is not just about what we have, but about how we give and connect with God. Sophia knew she was on the right path. Her heart and mind were increasingly certain that what she had been seeking all along could not be found in this world, but within herself, through a sincere relationship with Allah. She had found the light that had been hidden all along, and the next step was to follow that light, even though she didn't know where it would lead her. After months of reflection, learning, and undergoing an inner transformation, Sophia finally felt ready to take a significant step in her life. On a bright morning during the month of Ramadan, Sophia decided to recite the two Shahada, testimony of faith, in front of an imam at the mosque she had been visiting regularly. At that moment, she felt like a newborn, pure and full of hope. Tears flowed uncontrollably. The words she spoke were not just a series of sentences. They were the deepest promise in her heart. As she recited, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu, the whole world seemed to stop. The peace she felt was unlike anything she had ever experienced before. After the Shahada, Sophia sat for a moment in the mosque, reflecting on the major decision she had just made. From that day, she became a convert, a Muslim who humbly embraced Islam as her way of life. However, the transformation was not just a religious change. It was a total shift in how she viewed the world and the purpose of her life. Returning to her former life, which was full of parties, wealth, and worldly success, Sophia felt as though she was seeing everything with new eyes. The wealth she had accumulated was no longer the primary goal. She realized that the world was just a temporary stop, while the eternal goal was the hereafter, which was far greater and more important. "I have many things in this world," she said in an interview after embracing Islam, "but I realized that the happiness I was searching for cannot be found in luxurious things or worldly achievements. True beauty lies in the inner peace that can only be found through a sincere relationship with Allah." Sophia began to change her lifestyle. She sold most of her luxury possessions, which had once been symbols of her status: antique car collections, stunning jewelry, and expensive art pieces. She used the proceeds to establish a foundation aimed at helping orphan children, disadvantaged women, and victims of natural disasters around the world. She no longer desired a lavish home or vacations to exotic destinations. Instead, she began living in a simple apartment and visited areas in need of assistance more frequently. Sophia wanted to share what she had, not just materially, but also from the spirituality she had discovered. Sophia found that true wealth was not in money or possessions, but in the charity she gave. "I don't want my wealth to end with this world. I want every act of charity I do to lead me to a better path in the hereafter," she said with full conviction. Whenever there was an opportunity to contribute, Sophia never hesitated to give. She felt that by giving, she not only touched the lives of others, but also drew herself closer to Allah. One of her major projects was building schools in remote areas, providing education to children who had no access to schooling, and empowering women with skills that could help them become self-sufficient. "I used to think I could find peace in wealth," Sophia said on one occasion, "but now I know that true peace comes when we live according to Allah's commands, giving to those in need and building sincere relationships with others." Sophia's story became an inspiration to many. From a billionaire living in luxury, she transformed into a philanthropist who was willing to sacrifice all material wealth for the good of humanity. She was not only successful in business, but she was now successful in finding inner peace and living with a more noble purpose. Whenever she spoke at international forums, Sophia always reminded the audience that life is not just about what we gather, but about what we give. "What we have in this world is just a trust," she said, "and what we will carry into the hereafter is only the deeds we have done." Now, Sophia was not just a billionaire, but also a woman who had found her true purpose in life: to seek Allah's pleasure, benefit humanity, and live with a heart full of gratitude. Sophia's life, once filled with the glamour of the world, had now transformed into a spiritual journey far more meaningful, teaching the world that true wealth lies in charity and faith.